back up. Here I thought I was being respectful and smart, but guess what? That's not the case.
Yeah. When it hit that last note of the first time through, I don't think the YouTube stream had started back up yet, but it missed me doing this. I'm going to do it now for the YouTube stream.
Why?
I don't know. I just the emphasis on the note. It just struck me to do that. Like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I was dancing, I guess. Being pretty liberal with the word dancing there.
Yes, I think you are.
Yeah.
Sal Capaccio with us on the West Her Hotline. What a start. Sal, thanks for being with us. We're going to talk quarterbacks here eventually. Have some fun trying to match teams and potentially available quarterbacks. But first, let's hear you on this coaching list. John Fox, I mean, I don't know. That's a name I hadn't heard in a while.
Yeah, it kind of comes out of the blue for me as well. John Fox, the former head coach of the Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos, Chicago Bears, 71 years old. He's been a head coach, like I said, at 3 different organizations, been a coach a long time in the NFL, and now he's joining the Buffalo Bills staff as a senior assistant coach. That doesn't mean it's not even an assistant head coach. It's senior assistant coach. Whatever his role is, this is clearly a move for Joe Brady to have someone on staff who has head coaching experience. No different than what Sean McDermott did when he hired Leslie Frazier as his assistant head coach, which, by the way, he is still that role and title with Mike McDonald in Seattle and just got a Super Bowl ring. I think it's very smart of any young first-time head coach to hire as many people as he can who've kind of been there, done that, whether coordinators or head coaches. You should have somebody on your staff that has head coaching experience. And I know the game changes. That's totally a valid point. But there are always things that come up that a head coach has not been through when he's been the first time and can lean on those people who've been through those situations and what they've done. And also, if something's going on and it takes your attention away from the head coach stuff, to have somebody on staff that has that former experience, there's no downside to me. I do think it's an interesting name, though, John Fox, and one that we had not anticipated.
Yeah, I'm inclined to just nod along here as you're talking, because when we were going through all the reported hires, which I guess were all made definitively official today with the whole list being sent out, I believe by the Bills, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So, Carmichael had experience. The offensive line coach is experienced, but none of them were head coaches. And so there was that one little piece missing. And, of course, John Fox fills that in capably. I was looking through his career, Sal, and I don't think there's a crossover. Maybe you've done this too. Anywhere with Brady, but he intersects with Brandon Beane, and I guess Sean McDermott to an extent, not that it matters now because McDermott's not here, but Beane very early is still there in a support role in the front office when Fox is their head coach until I think 2010.
Yeah, so there's some crossover there. You're right, and that's the thing that I looked at too. Like, wait a minute, what's the connection here, right? And you look at John Fox. You guys, I just said he's 71. He started his coaching career in 1978 at San Diego State. By the way, he's listed on his Wikipedia page. He played on the practice squad, I guess, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of 1978, and then didn't go well at the NFL level for him as a player. So he went into coaching. In that same year, he went to San Diego State, and he's been coaching a long, long time. He's been in college. He's been in the NFL. And
he coached in the USFL.
He did. You're right. Let's see. The LA Express, right? That was Steve Young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Steve Young right there. And he hasn't been in coaching at all for 3 years though. His last role was with the Lions in 2023, also as a senior defensive assistant. So that's what he'll be here. And you're right, Bulldog. You go back to the Denver Broncos. I'm sorry, you go back to the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry, and there's a little bit of crossover there, and there's some familiarity. So it makes sense. And as these things go, sometimes it's 1 degree of separation. Sometimes, right? Maybe Joe Brady. People in Carolina that knew him, and different places, Denver Broncos, obviously, different places that people could know people. So yeah, it makes sense to bring in a guy like that, and maybe a guy that a couple people are familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, you never know how it could be a situation where a guy like Fox knows Bean, knows that there's turnover here, and calls him and say, hey, you know what, tell your guy to give me a call. Like maybe we can put something together here, and it just sort of, despite Brady not having worked with him before, it just sort of they get sort of connected, and here we are.
I always want to.
So,
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I always want to know with these senior assistants how much they're going to actually do. Is this one where wasn't Pete Carroll this for the Seahawks after they moved him up from the sideline? Like, is he in the meetings? Is he there once a month? Is he really integral in building any sort of structure as to what they're doing? I mean, maybe more of his duties will be like setting up for the season or something. I don't know. You're not. Please don't tell me anyone ever that they're going to consult John Fox on game strategy. Like, this has got to be more. Hopefully not. I mean, if they're planning on doing that, never publicize it. And Bills, come on, never admit it if you're doing that.
Well, you know the way this works, guys. The Bills put out the release. They have the names, and then that's a lot of the default setting a lot of people go to. Oh, my God, he was terrible as a head coach, which he wasn't, by the way. He actually had some success, and he had some terrible times, and I know the overall record wasn't great. Oh, my God, he was terrible as a head coach. I can't believe what's he doing, is setting the defense. No. These things are generally more administrative roles are what they are.
Yeah.
And it's not game planning. It might be, though, something like, hey, remember back in that year when you guys would run this? Can you tell us a little more about that? And you could do things like that. You lean on people. Generally, these senior assistant coaches are more administrative and can take care of the things the head coach can't take care of maybe in certain times throughout the year and throughout the week and on a day-to-day basis.
Any other especially interesting names on the new coaches list for you?
Yeah, I think the fact that the Bills actually did retain 2 defensive assistants is interesting to me because there was, a thought that they could just overhaul the entire defensive side. That is not the case. It's not what they did. Although most of it has been overhauled, they did retain Joe Dana. He's a secondary coach. He moves from safeties to secondary. So whatever that means, there's a corners coach, there's a secondary coach, but for all intents and purposes, he'll probably be doing most of what he's done in the same role. And that's Cole Bishop, obviously, and what he's been able to do with him, which is good. And then the other one is really interesting because he's a local guy, and that's Jason Rebrovich. Jason was with the Bills back with Rex Ryan as a defensive line coach, and then he left. He had a couple stops. He was with the Packers. He came back last year under Sean McDermott and was the pass rush. He was an assistant defensive line coach. He was pass rush specialist in Green Bay. But I say that because, again, it felt like everything was going to get overhauled on defense. That's not the case. Jason comes back, and what's funny about him is he's listed as senior defensive assistant. Guys, I'm older than Jason Rebrovich. He's listed as senior defensive assistant.
Get used to it, buddy.
Right, which makes me feel really, really old, right? So that's kind of funny. So, yeah, I think those are interesting. And the other fact that's interesting here is there is no nickel corner coach specifically anymore. That had been created a few years ago. That was Mike Pellegrino last year, and now he's going to apparently be with the Eagles, but that's because the Bills just completely eliminated that position. There is no specific nickel corner coach, which now gets speculation running rampant from the fan base of what does that mean for Taron Johnson? What does that mean? I don't know, right? I don't know how they view that spot under Jim Leonhard.
Yeah, that'll be really something to watch. I also saw, and this might be, this could be maybe more good than bad, but I'm trying to think, was it Mike Clay? I saw a post that featured percentage of snaps that are going to be lost to free agency, UFAs only. And the Bills, like returning starters, they've got 51% of their starting snaps coming back on defense, which the reason I say it could be good is like you got a new coordinator, which means a new system, right? And I think we know that, right? It's going to be different. How different, we don't know, right? With 3-4, whatever, this nickel spot you're talking about. I think it is convenient that the Bills have the opportunity to sort of fill in and don't have to maybe make as many decisions to move guys out financial or play style wise because there's a lot of holes to fill as it is.
100%, yeah. And I think that to me, this is uncharted territory to talk about this team in a way that I have not had to talk about them in a while and think about them, which is, quite frankly, we don't know what their plan is on defense, right? Which is, we could sit here and say, well, this guy fits, this guy doesn't, this guy fits, this guy doesn't. I don't know. Is that real? Who knows who fits and who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't seen it in practice yet. Right? Like, they can start off-season workouts April 6th. They're not going to go on the field yet. That's going to be in OTAs and minicamp. We're gonna just have to put together the clues and the breadcrumbs, guys, over the next couple months about what this defense looks like based on their personnel moves, right? This is not – for 9 years, it was you knew the scheme. Let's go find the guys that we can talk about who do fit and don't fit and where they are contractually, right? Now it's kind of the reverse order here. We're going to figure that out as the Bills are telling us by their moves, by their actions,
right,
to figure out what they are going to do on defense, because we don't know right now. I could tell you, Ed Oliver's a great example. Taron Johnson's a great example. There are people telling you how much Taron Johnson fits or doesn't fit. Ed Oliver might be a better example. Yes, he definitely can fit in this new defense. No, he doesn't fit in this new defense. I am personally not about to make those judgments because I have no freaking clue what Jim Leonhard thinks about that. And that's uncharted but cool territory for us, actually.